Okay, algebra. I called you guys algebra students. You're geometry students. Okay, so now this is a little bit more graphic oriented, and hopefully, if you have it on your computer, you could look at how to do this. Maybe count these. This is a good visual representation of it. But I'm going to do the mathematical one as well. Okay, so I have triangle EFGH, and it's going over and it's becoming E prime, F prime, G prime, H prime. So, what is the translation rule that is going to apply to this? Okay, well, let's see how this works. I'm going to use blue for up and down. I'm going to use green for left to right. Okay, so I'm going to establish a rule first. Write this down. Up is positive. Down is negative. Right, to go right, is positive. To go left is negative. Write that down. If you remember that, hopefully everyone remembers that. Sometimes it gets a little weird in algebra, but in geometry, this is pretty much the rule. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, well, this is the original one because this is the pre-image. This one's the pre-image, and this is the image. So it's going from here to here. This one down here to that one up here. Now, if it's a translation, a true translation, you don't have to look at all of the points. You can, but you don't, because you're going to find a rule with the one point. I'll pick the point to me that looks the easiest. I'm going to go with F. So, how many do I have to go up? How many do I go left or right? Okay, so, well, since we always write all our coordinates in x, comma, y, let's do the x first. Because x is left to right. You see down here we got a little x. Left to right. Okay, so I'll start with green. So since we're going left to right, I'm going to use h. I'm going to change it up and I'm going to use h because that's on the bottom there. So to go from h to h prime, I have to go across 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I went left. I went in this direction. I went from here over to here. Left is negative. So I'm going to write in the x direction. I went negative. I went to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. Now, next one is, well, this is not good enough. H prime is all the way up there, so I got to climb a little bit. So I'm going to go this now. 1, 2, 3. And so y, I went up. Up is positive. Plus, because it's positive, 1, 2, 3. And that's the rule. Now, this works for all the points. Now, let's take it another way to find these two numbers. Okay? This is just a way to do it mathematically, so if you don't have a graph paper, well, you can still work with this. Hopefully, you can make this big enough on your computer screen and count these out with your fingers. Okay? If you have dry erase markers, you can write on the computer screen and then wipe it off. Don't do it with permanent markers like this one. Okay, so another way to do it. So h, okay, when I went from h to h prime, the original image to the next, this original coordinate is 6, x, comma, y, 6, comma, 1. Now, it went from 6, comma, 1 at h to 2, comma 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 comma 4. And you look at that, and well, how do you get from 6 to 4? Well, if I wanted to go from 6 to 4, well, what operation would I have to do some sort of addition to it? So what I would do is I would take 6 and I would subtract 4, like my rule said. Now, if I went from 2, I went from 1. Let's do orange here. And I went to 4. Well, to go from here, I have to add 1, 2, 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. So I would just take 1 plus 4. Plus 3 would give me 4. Another way to do it mathematically. Okay? As I said, remember, if you can find some graph paper lying around, if you can make us, get it close, that's fine. Just be careful with your counting. If you're doing it on a screen and you can't print it up. But remember, you can also do the same thing. Now, I didn't have to do this for every image. This translation works for G to G prime, F to F prime, E to E prime, H to H prime. They're all the same translation. So I could totally move this. When we're doing graphing, what I always tell people is don't try and do the whole image at once. Don't try and redraw it here from here. I say always move one over. Then go, and then move the next one over. So then I would still do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up. 1, 2, 3. Then I would move F over. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up. 1, 2, 3. Then I would move G over. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up. 1, 2, 3. And if you do them all one at a time, no matter how you move them, what's going to happen is you're going to get this. You're going to get the same formula. It's going to work out the same way. Now, and remember, a translation, they look exactly the same. Same size, same shape. They're at isometry. So when you do a translation, if you're looking at it on a piece of graph paper, these two shapes need to be exactly the same. If you translate something and then you put it on a piece of graph paper and it doesn't look the same, you've done something wrong. Go back and check your work. All right, have a good one, guys.